So here I am back, just a couple seconds after the last one. I want to try to make this one a little bit shorter as well. Like I said, this is just kind of topic that me and my wife talked about a little bit today. She brought it up, and it makes a lot of sense. We were talking about a individual, and this relates to a lot of people, but just kind of using this as an example because with the way that we live our life and stuff, we don't have a whole lot of human interaction, like other than just like say going to Walmart, which ain't really anything. I mean, you say hi and bye to the cashiers or whatever and stuff, but I mean that's it really, or just shit like that. But I forgot exactly how she put it because we talk about these things all the time, but sometimes whenever you can relate them, they just sound a whole lot better and go through better. But basically, it was like a lot of people just don't have the ability to like use a mirror. I mean, and this is like just being self-aware. Now, I've always been self-aware about things, not always in the moment though. I think about it later and I'm like, oh fuck, I can't believe I done that. Uh, did that. But yeah, I mean, I've learned to grow and kind of honestly, you can have too much self awareness and that can kind of fuck you up. It can keep you from doing things, kind of like even with these videos and stuff like that. Yeah, I put it off for a long time because I was like, for a few reasons I've talked about in another video, but one relating to the topic, kind of talking about today is just fear of being cringe. Because like I said, I just don't want to come off as like cringe or whatever. But I know they all are to a certain degree, and I think everybody is at a certain cringe level until they've like made it to a certain point. And then once you make it to a certain point, then it stops being cringe, I guess, right? Because then, and I'm not saying I'm going to make it anywhere with these videos or do anything like that. I think definitely that we will with what we've got going on in our personal lives and that we're doing is getting set up for the future and stuff. I think definitely will for that, but uh, like locally, you know what I'm saying. But in regards to that, and obviously not on the scale of like any people I may use as like a reference or these large people, but just talk about the internet and stuff, kind of because everybody can see it. But if you're cringe in a small area, then you can just sometimes write off as I fuck these people, whatever, right? But back to what I wanted to mention. Um, but, well, let me hop back. Before I mention that, I did shoot another video earlier today. Um, this was one actually in the daylight. I was sitting in the truck waiting on somebody to show up to do what they're supposed to do uh, for what I've got going on personally and stuff. Uh, but that being said, um, I just felt so cringe because it felt so forced because where I shot it at, uh, I just didn't feel comfortable like doing it in that space that I was at. Like I'm comfortable here at night, outside, uh, doing shit like this. And with that, his just ramblings, even more so than some other videos where there was like no topic. I was just kind of like looking around because you see traffic or some shit like that. I'm just not a town person, not a people person, anything like that. But anyways, though, yeah. So back to the topic there a little bit is there's a person that we know, uh, and they'll just say something just so off color. Like you'll again, this kind of talks about what I talked about in that one video, or similar to what I talked about in another video. Is like you'll say a statement and then people will want to attack or argue or come at you with like negative energy and stuff. It's like my wife was just kind of talking to, just not even to this guy specifically, and so his family member, uh, about like how, you know, butter, like real actual butter, is good for you to use and stuff like that, and these different benefits of it versus like the fake butter that most people buy. That's, you know, whatever, right? Just a normal statement that anybody should be able to comprehend. Real food is better than fake food, right? And anyways, just out of nowhere, wants to start a conversation about how butter will give you high cholesterol, and it's like, first of all, motherfuckers like fat, so obviously, probably not the person, which I probably shouldn't say this, but whatever, fuck it, the person to be given like health advice. But at the same point, you'll be getting that from the shit that, and my wife's the one who brought a lot of this to my attention and stuff. Like I say, she's real smart on all this. She does all the cooking and stuff, but it's like you'll get cholesterol more so from like seed oils, which is in your fake butter and like basically anything you fucking eat or drink, unless you're getting like real shit. And it's just like you can't even, like, a lot of times people will not be able to even grasp a knowledgeable statement about anything that should just be like base level, to be able to begin to kind of open them up to deeper topics, much less talking about, excuse me, like real shit or what's happening in the world or why it's happening or what kind of people's like fucking up everything. And because like there's no man behind the curtain, there's no yada yada, all this other stuff, right? Like you can't even talk about like real shit because a lot of times people can't even understand base level knowledge stuff. Like if you were to say something like Family Guy is just completely fucking dumb and it's only for dumbasses to watch it or something like that, I mean, you would just be attacking so many people, and then they would get like very defensive and try to argue with that or some shit. And it's just like, and that's obviously a very loaded statement to say, and I would get why that would sometimes trigger emotions. Sorry about the dogs. Uh, like an emotional response to somebody because you're attacking something that they like. Uh, and it's very much opinionated with coming with that energy. Whether if you perceive a statement like that to be factual, or excuse me, factual or not. Um, but something like real butter is better for you. I mean, that's not an opinion. That's not anything like, that's a duh thing, right? Um, and just like there's certain people out there that are very miserable and they'll have to argue everything. Like you'll just, like, it doesn't take just anything at all. Like not even an opinionated, loaded statement, you know, coming at something with like some negative energy or anything like that, and it would just rock their fucking world. Like it's just a normal statement to fucking make. But because it shatters their NPC fucking life for whatever reason that they have inside them, that's their issue. Um, you just can't even talk to a lot of fucking people about anything, and that really sucks. Not even know like, or not even any like deep shit, just base level duh things to state, you know. Again, sorry about the dogs, but no, I mean, in addition to that, there's some other examples and stuff like that, like things that are a little bit more opinionated and have a little bit more like negative energy towards something that you could state, but just base level knowledge and stuff like that. Some people, they're just, you can't do anything to fuck up their, like what they've got going on in their heads. You just, you cannot break the mold with these people at all. Like these are the types of people that would wear whatever goofy fashion that is trendy and is in stores just because it's there and they want to look good. So then they'll put on just whatever normie slop clothing that they have to wear, or whatever is trending at the time. These are the people that will follow. They'll only listen to pop radio. They'll forget about like whatever pop songs that they said that they liked or something that's like a few years old because it's just not in their uh, repertoire or whatever, anymore. Like they don't care. Uh, I think footwear is a good way to kind of sense what people's got going on. I mean, obviously, I don't remember every fucking thing, but the people that were growing up wearing like Nike Shocks whenever they were popular and everybody had to have them fucking goofy shoes, uh, even as a kid, I realized that shit was goofy. They're the same ones that's now wearing like the fucking. They're not moccasins, but they kind of resemble them. They're supposed to be like comfy and like just made out of nothing, and they have they're not even shoes. They're basically just like rubber saw. I mean, I don't even do they call them boat shoes? I can't remember, but you know what I'm talking about. Just whatever. These like guy fashion or something, right? It's just whatever people can get by with to wear because it's just what is normalized. I think that's a good thing. Like there's certain people that they're kind of timeless. Like they've been wearing the same basic like sometimes you can identify people that'll stick to the guns because they're uh, or that are not NPCs because they stick to their guns because they're wearing whatever shoe or boot or what have you that they've been wearing for years, whether if it was in style or not. Um, I think that sometimes is a telltale sign that you may be talking to an individual and not just like a normie that's just had their brain fucking rotted out and is not even like coherent to be able to talk to about anything. Um, Personally, I've always identified people sometimes on their shoe. Obviously, you can't judge a book by its cover always, and you got to conform and stuff like that. And my construction job, they give you free boots, and you had basically one or two styles to pick from, and it's just like, yeah, you're gonna get them because they're free. I mean, I get that. Or you're working specific jobs, you got to have the whatever thing, the fry cook shoes or whatever the fuck. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that there's certain identifiers that you can use sometimes though to maybe try to reach out and make new friends on stuff or whatever that you're into and stuff like that. It's just like these little subtle clues that you can pick up on. Um, it doesn't have to be shoes; it could be anything. But it's just something that I typically will notice about people, and I think it's important that a lot of people will reach out and excuse me, you don't have to be friends with the same people you grew up with. A lot of times, if you're trying to hold on to that bullshit, it'll only drag you down and create a lot of negativity and stuff. But yeah, if you can just kind of reach out and connect with other people, even as maybe if you're a little bit older and stuff like that, I think everyone out there, to a certain degree, it's not going to be the same as like a high school friendship or something because you ain't got as much free time. But I think there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, needing friends, looking for friends, people they can connect with and stuff like that. But obviously, you probably don't want an NPC or something like that because it's nobody you could talk to about any like real shit or real topics, unless it's you're just echo chambering their delusions or um, you agree with whatever delusional trends or whatever's in like your normie news and stuff like that of what's going on and shit that's happening and stuff like. But honestly though, sometimes fucking with normies can be a bit grounding. I would say limit it though, because you don't want to start conforming. Because that's what happened to me at one point. I had this ideology of what I thought things were like they should have to be. So therefore, I thought I was going to have to become this other thing to make this shit happen. And that's not the fucking case. You just fall into the trap. Uh, you just get in the grind like everybody else. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, do it all over again. And on the weekend, you're either resting up, you're getting your own shit done, or you having to run fucking Walmart or something like that, get stocked up, and it's just like that's no life, not for me. I'm glad there's people out there that's doing it, that can do it, because it helps support the ones that are trying to break free and shit like that. If everybody was a free thinker, then you know a lot of things in the world that we know it today would have to change. And if you're kind of comfortable with how things are, obviously you want things to be better. Um, but if you're kind of comfortable with how things are, it's good that we've got NPCs, you know, to a certain degree, because they're the normies, they're the cogs, in the machine, keeping it rolling for the rest of us. And that sounds very narcissistic and bad, um, but it's true. I mean, the majority of the time, you don't get anywhere in life being a normie. You don't get anywhere in life being another cog in the machine, just being like everybody else, going and just slaving away your entire fucking life at some normie job, doing whatever the fuck, and you're just so replaceable. I mean, something I've been thinking about here a little bit recently is just going back and looking at my three main like corporate jobs I've had: pizza delivery, construction, and call center. Um, I was 100% replaceable at all those. Um, I felt like I was really good at the pizza delivery. I was the fastest one, um, and always I would work any hours that they would give me, and I never called in or anything other than one time whenever I had to go to the hospital and stuff. But uh, and this was like over a year and a half and stuff like that. I was even going in working 2 hours to unload the truck, making $8 an hour, no deliveries on that shit, and it's just like. Uh, you kind of hustle on that, and it makes you a little, you're still replaceable. I mean, it kind of sucks to say, but there's someone else out there that can deliver those pizzas, and even though they may be just a minute or two later than they usually were, chances are they're going to be able to keep working that and get better at it, and then they're going to be able to train up too where they can be fast. um, or the pizzas just be a minute or two later. It ain't no big fucking deal. It's not gonna, that shit don't matter. um, Construction jobs, super replaceable. Um, the only thing that I was honestly good at was not snitching and keeping my mouth shut about stuff, which is why most of them liked me up there. Um, but that's not like a job skill um, necessarily. That's more the social part of it, which is bullshit, anyways. Um, but yeah, so I was decent on the tractor and stuff like that, but someone else can get trained up to be good too. There's several people that's already there that's good at it, better than I fucking was, anyways. So that doesn't fucking matter. Um, and call center, hell, most replaceable motherfuckers on the earth. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Literally, the only reason that call center motherfuckers still exist, I truly believe this, is because there are certain people that do not want to talk to the robot machines or whatever the fuck to try to get through a lot of this stuff. Because I've called places before and you have to go through all that bullshit. Um, but once, I mean, a lot of it's the boomers and some of the Gen Xers, especially once the boomers die off, and then they can kind of assimilate the Gen Xers a little bit, I feel like. Uh, but all that shit's going to be, you talking to robots or Indians, it's going to get exported, you know. Because it's kind of like, it's become accepted that call centers are just fucking awful to deal with. And all it is basically to take the heat of whenever people have, like, want to call and complain about bullshit. Um, or, I mean, a lot of times they're asking questions that you could literally just Google and find out. Like, people just have to use their fucking brain. Um, but if they just would create a voice message that said, if you're having trouble with da 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 da, especially, I mean, everybody's talking about all this AI bullshit. I mean, we just have to see it to believe it. I mean, it's definitely coming to a certain capacity and stuff, but because they're letting like the general population fuck with it now, make memes and stupid shit and stuff. So it's not just something for the who's and what's to utilize and stuff, but yeah, so most replaceable motherfuckers on the earth, the call center workers. I do believe that. But no, last thing I want to mention again before I get out here is another little story. Is it's kind of looking in some like backhoes and stuff like that, and I've heard some people argue. This goes back to the first conversation that I'd mentioned about people need to look in the fucking mirror and realize sometimes how stupid they fucking sound. Um, I was looking at some stuff about backhoes and stuff, and I've seen some people comment. I've even heard this a time or two, like in real life and stuff, and it's like. Um, you got to get a four wheel drive. You got to get a four wheel drive. And don't get me wrong, four wheel drive backhoe would be better and shit like that. Obviously, anything four wheel drive would be better. But if you get stuck in one, like, dude, they're literally made to fucking dig. You can, if you get stuck, dig yourself out. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of, I don't think this is as stupid as the butter thing I was talking about earlier. But it's still pretty fucking stupid. I mean, that's their fucking purpose, you know? Uh, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Like, um, but I know this here's a little bit more on a couple different topics, and just wanted to kind of mention a couple examples, talk about some things. Don't hate the normies, appreciate the normies. You're better off not fucking with them a whole lot, anyways. Uh, you only get sucked into it, or they're going to judge you for breaking the norm. Normies cannot handle breaking the norm. Normies. Uh, yeah, try to find some real motherfuckers out there, and just keep looking up, keep looking forward. We're gonna get through it all. Take it easy.